Fallout 4 has been out for almost 10 years now, and I really wanted to ask myself and you guys, is Fallout 4 worth playing in 2024 and 2025? So I make videos about Bethesda games and video games in general, so if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing, and otherwise, enjoy the video. So Fallout 4 came out all the way back in November of 2015, and at the time, it was one of the most anticipated releases of the entire year. So it was a huge deal at the time, considering all of these massive quality of life upgrades would be coming out with the next installment. So when it came out, it was a massive commercial success, and in general, everybody seemed to love it. It was such an amazing game, and it was really a great continuation for the Fallout franchise, considering the older games were just a little outdated at that point. But other than that, you have a wildly large map, a decent story, really good side quests, an amazing open world, upgraded combat, and just all of the quality of life upgrades you would want for the next installment for a big franchise. But that being said, it's definitely not the best it could have been, because Fallout games were previously a lot more focused on being an RPG or an actual role-playing game, and there's no doubt that Fallout 4 did take a step back from letting players really be creative and kind of create a narrative that they wanted to create. So in Fallout 3, you were able to nuke Megaton, or you could save it. You truly had the option to do whichever one, and there is nothing that comes close to that in Fallout 4, like not even close. So now I just kind of wanted to talk about in general, like how big the Fallout brand is right now, especially after the TV show and its massive success. There's so many new players coming into 2024 looking at these games and figuring out if they want to play them because, they're crossing over from the TV show. And it's just a really exciting time to be a fan of the franchise. It's gone from being mainstream with people who play video games to like fully mainstream now that it has a really successful TV show. So I do believe in the next couple years, before Elder Scrolls 6, that we'll see a remake of Fallout 3 or New Vegas, or maybe or New Vegas, because the IP has never been bigger before, and they know they have to capitalize on this, but it does take a while for Bethesda to get games out, especially Fallout games. So I think the happy medium is to just remaster the old games, and then by the time Fallout 5 comes out, at least you've been able to kind of keep everybody at bay for the time being. Because realistically, we are not going to see a Fallout 5 for the next probably 7 or 8 years, which is already insane to say. Because realistically, Elder Scrolls 6, that is not coming out until probably 3 or 4 years from now, and then it'll take them another 5 to 8 years for Fallout 5. It's getting crazy. I also can't forget that there are mods that come with Fallout 4. Not only can you get them on Nexus mods, which are completely free, but you can also get them on Bethesda's Creation Club whenever you're at the main menu of Fallout 4. But in my opinion, I think Nexus is the best just because you get the most amount of variety and it's completely free. But of course, Creations Club is really easy because it's already baked into the game. But of course, the only issue is that a lot of the content is paid. But yeah, as if this game wasn't good enough, you have all this free content, and somebody just came out with Fallout London, which is quite literally what it sounds like. It is an entire Fallout game based in London with replaced dialogue, new weapons, of course, new armor sets. It's pretty crazy, and this is all completely free, and it's like literally a new game. So the main story is pretty good, but the side quests are honestly like really where it's at. A couple of them that I remember off the top of my head is like the USS Commonwealth, that's the one with the robots on there, and then you end up having the ship blast away. You have the Cabot House, Diamond City Blues, like there's so many amazing side quests in the game that I cannot name them all. So now we're going to move on to exploration, and in my opinion, there's no feature that's better in a Bethesda title than getting to explore the open world. In my opinion, every Fallout game, and especially Fallout 4, has done a phenomenal job of making the world just really feel lived in, and it makes the map feel carefully crafted. So you start the game in a vault in the northwestern part of the map, and as you start to explore, you really start to find everything in the post-apocalyptic Boston region. So you'll head downtown, and you'll see all the high-rise towers and even some of the old city. And then as you head south, you'll run into the swamps. And then when you head west, you'll actually run into, where the nuke was supposedly dropped. And it's just a literal nuclear wasteland. Radiation's at a max. There's death claws everywhere. It is a scary place to be. Even when you have the power armor, it's still scary because everything there can kill you in a couple shots. So Fallout 4's combat and just gameplay is a lot better overall than the other previous entries. So I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for that, but it's like almost undeniable that the combat is just so much better, or the gunplay. When you shoot a rifle, it actually feels like you're shooting a rifle because there's proper blowback, and it really just plays like a modern first-person shooter. Like, it was actually updated to the current generation, and I have no complaints. I've always thought it was seriously amazing. So you have the classic VAT system, which of course, once you target the enemy, it'll have you in slow motion and you can pick whichever body parts you want to shoot at. This is an iconic mechanic of Fallout and honestly Bethesda titles in general. Whenever you think of the VAT system, you immediately think of Fallout, and it's the main reason why I don't run anywhere. I only walk around the entire map just so my action points are always filled up to max, so I can use them for VATs. Then you have your traditional leveling up system, where of course each level you get assigned a point, which you can then put on a perk, so you can choose anything from like lock picking to building weapon attachments, food, health, stamina. There's really something for every build, and again, that's what makes this game amazing. And there's lots of weapon variety, so anything from energy weapons to shotguns and snipers and different melee weapons. There's really something for everybody, and it only gets better because the DLCs, which I believe the DLCs come with any copy of Fallout 4 at this point, those also include custom weapons. And if you want to customize those weapons, if you just take it to a workbench, you're actually able to go and customize them. So if you don't like the iron sight, you can change that. If you don't like the actual mag size, you can change that. So there's also base building, and it works really well, especially that it's the very first time that Bethesda had introduced something like that in one of their main titles. And yeah, I think it's a pretty great system. I've used it on and off throughout playing this game for the past like decade. I've never created anything insane like some people have, but I've always had something somewhat respectful that can protect Preston because he's always yelling at me. So again, just like with crafting the weapon components, you're going to come across items that allow you to build actual shelters, and it's just stuff you come across naturally in the world. And the last thing I really wanted to go over was the DLCs. So in my opinion, Fallout 4's DLCs were the best that Bethesda has ever made. Far Harbor was the greatest DLC they've made in my opinion. It had an amazing story, had an amazing landscape, a lot of unique creatures and enemy types and unique armor sets and weapons. There's so much uniqueness, and you can tell that they really cared. Unlike with their more recent titles, Shattered Space. I'm gonna make a video on that soon, so if you're interested, subscribe, I'll be making that. But there was no soul in Shattered Space. You could tell that they really cared with Far Harbor, but it was a dark, murky, wet, foggy island that had some mysteries in it, and it was awesome. And then you have Nuka World, which it's a theme park based in the Fallout universe, and it was sick. It's so cool. It's a lot more combat oriented, which is kind of more my thing. It was just a really good DLC because it was a lot of close quartered environments and a lot different than Far Harbor, which was all mostly long distance, very murky. You can't really see well. But Nuka World, it was all about being in your face, a lot of action, and a lot of different factions and rides, and just so much uniqueness. That is the thing that always keeps me coming back to Fallout, is that it is such a unique IP that there's truly nothing like it. So it's just really surprising that they were able to make DLCs this good a decade ago, and then as time goes on, they kind of progressively get worse, because like I said, Shattered Space, not the best at all. But then I'll be doing another one about Shattered Space. So if you're interested, subscribe and stay tuned. It'll be up soon. So in summary, I absolutely recommend Fallout 4 in 2024, and regardless of the price, I think you should absolutely buy it. It's an amazing experience to get to explore the map and just enjoy the story and the side quests, and really get to engage in the combat system, which was a lot more improved than the previous games. This is one of my favorite games of all time, and it's not just because of nostalgia, but because it's genuinely an amazing game. I have hundreds of hours in this game, and it'll continue to grow over the next however many decades I keep on playing it, and I'm genuinely jealous of anyone who gets to play this for the first time. So if there's anybody watching this video who's on the fence, I say go buy it. You know, if it's 20 bucks, 30 bucks, it's on sale for 5 or 10 bucks, just buy it. You're not going to regret it. It's one of the best games ever made, and you're going to get easily a couple hundred hours out of it. So when you think on return of investment from dollars to video games, it is a steal. So again, I more than recommend this game, and I'm going to keep on making videos surrounded around Bethesda titles and other video games. So if you're interested, please consider subscribing, and thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Peace out.